Well, the third day, I'm close to winning, and I've been close to winning before in a bass event and failed. Last year at Smith Lake, I ain't no way to describe it, guys. Hell, I choked. I mean, I choked like Arkansas playing Ohio State. I couldn't have got out of my own self sway. I lost them. I hit the depth finder with a 3-pounder. I threw a 3-pounder out that side of the boat. I tried to lip a 5-pounder and pull the back hook off. If it could go wrong, it went wrong in the last 3 hours of that tournament, and I lost. So after 10 or 12 years of battling this statement that Tim Tucker died, one I thought was one of the greatest riders Bassmasters ever had. He killed in a car wreck here in Florida. He wrote it, "Will Swindle win a bass event?" And I went Angler of the Year, and I'm thinking it can't be that hard to win an event, but it never would happen. So the third day of the tournament, that you have to understand, that monkey's in the back of your head, and we call him the old stress monkey. About halfway through the day, he'll just start choking you out. He'll slide his fingers in there, and he'll get heavy, and every now and then he'll poke a finger in your eye. So the stress monkey was there to don't screw up. I knew if I went there and just fished, well, I pretty much got my A game on, my mental game. I slide in that morning. I've got a young kid from down in Tampa. His name is Marlon Crider. Kid's been telling me all morning he needed to win a boat. He ain't got no money. He said, I just need to win a boat so I can fish. We slide in there, dude, and we got a big crowd of people chasing us. I kicked the buoy out because I'm a pro. I know exactly where I'm going to throw. He picks his rattle trap up and slings it out the back. The second cast, I hear the line. I'm thinking, oh God. And then he's just leaning back. He's like, this is a big one. Oh, it was. It's a 9+. I net him up. Whoosh. I lay him on the floor and I'm thinking, oh God. That's like catching your high school girlfriend dancing with your best friend. It's hard to swallow after a minute. I'm like, the little stinger punch, I shake it off, and I'm not going to get right. Now, I ain't saying I'm going to let that bother me, I'm going to bounce back. Son, and I start fishing, son, I'm throwing at that buoy, and I'm telling you, I'm making man damn proud. I got sweat coming, son, I ain't ripping that trap, letting it go to the bottom, I'm fishing. I know what I'm doing, This kid from almost around there, and he gets his bait out, and he reties, and he's talking about that's the biggest fish he's ever caught in a tournament. He ain't made 3 casts. He's throwing out this side of the boat now. I hear oh, hey, I know you're this kid. This thing jumps, swims right to the net, whoosh, another 9-pounder laid out in the carpet. Oh my God. Dude, almost back to back. I have netted over 18 pounds of bass. I ain't even had a nibble. So now I done took a straight overhand right. I mean, I've been crippled. I'm down, and mentally, I don't care who you are.
That's brutal.
Brutal. Whether you're a Bass Pro Shop manager, or you own a window cleaning business, or you're John Smokes throwing a fastball, that will rattle the cage mentally. And I was thinking to myself, I cannot let this slip away like this. This cannot happen. Of course, by the time he got his fish in the live well and got through oohing and ahhing, I done had his bait on. Anymore after them double 9s down there. And I remember talking to myself, and I then went into third person, kind of Kramer off Seinfeld, talking to myself that this is a mental challenge. There's many of them in every day of bass fishing, as so is there in every walk of life. Whether you're working in the fishing business or a hunting department, you got mental challenges that you have to overcome. As a competitor, as a person, you got to dig a little deeper. I said, now this is the deepest one I've ever had to dig out of, I can promise you. I mean, I couldn't even see daylight. But I thought to myself, if you will just settle down and fish your strength, do what you know to do, and you overcome this, winning any tournament you want to win is a small step. Because there's not any angler alive that can say, hey, I've been leading a tournament and got back-to-back 9-pounders caught on me and overcome it. So then it become a personal goal of mine just to say I overcome double 9s. And I did. I started rallying back, and I ended up getting up, catching it pretty good. And it was funny because I talked the gentleman into fishing again. I said, dude, please. I said, fish, man. You didn't do anything wrong, I said, of course, 18 pounds was leading the tournament, and he had 2 that weighed almost 19. I said, you doubled the weight. You're good, son. You can coast. I said, put on the Zoom trick worm. I put on the June bug, and I saw him line up there right there at that house. Dude, he's thung them. He says, whew. And he's holding the rod, and he's just talking to me because he's just in shock, He's like, did you believe that just happened? And he's holding his rod, and he goes, dude, you're not going to believe this, but a fish has got that. I mean, he caught a 3+ on the next cast. He's got 21 3/4. And ain't even got the backlash this throw divers reel. The dude ain't even got the farther fish. And it's one of them deals where mentally you just have to keep grinding and know that that's the part of bass fishing that most people melt down from. And when people ask me, when I'm like in Nashville yesterday, Gerald, what do you think the difference is in a guy that fishes competitively for a living, in the top of the arena that can rise to the occasion and do all this. What's the difference between that and a guy that just goes every weekend? And I simply can say it's the obstacle of the being able to overcome stuff mentally. You know, you got to wonder what goes through Peyton Manning's mind when he throws an interception. You know, he gets right back out there. He's resilient. He does it again. So fishing has a lot of those challenges, and that was probably one of my biggest deficits I've ever. I mean, I've had some bad ones now. Last year at Smith Lake, I melted down. It was ugly, like a Mississippi mud fence. And if it could screw up, I tore it up, broke it. I mean, I lost them, dropped them, flopped them back in the water, and it got to be a snowball effect. And I absolutely could say, without holding my head down, I self-destructed. I literally self-destructed, trying too hard and not being able to stop the game and saying, settle down. So this time, when this come up, I immediately seen it and I was like, settle down. Now I'm not going to tell you it was easy, because he'd opened that live well up and wasn't nothing but head sticking out. You got to be kidding me. And had I caught any one of those two fish, I would have broke the all-time 3-day record, which was 83 pounds, and I had 80-13. So we live and learn.